Hey, it's Gavin here, and I'm here with Claudia, my fiance.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about success and money after awakening. So, obviously, we've experienced success prior to awakening, and that came with its fair share of challenges and experiences and wins and successes, and what it's been like for us afterwards. And hopefully, this supports you in understanding how powerful presence can be in uh, helping you experience higher levels of consciousness and stuff like this. So, um, yeah, you want to start?
Okay. Yes, I've been an entrepreneur for now 7 years, and on the third year, I think, third or fourth year of my journey, I hit the seven figures in my business, and in a very funny way was also the year where I experienced an awakening in my business. So it was kind of like achieving the million goal. Woke me up for so many reasons that we both are gonna address in this video. And after the moment, my relationship with money, my relationship with success changed drastically and completely. It's like in the first years of my business, I was so focused on achieving success. I was so focused on maybe belonging to this other entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur that I was seeing online. And I think in an unconscious way, I honestly don't think I was conscious. I don't know how it was for you, but I was believing that my value depended on how much money I was going to make. My value depended on the level of success. My value depended on the level of performance of my business. I don't think I was aware, because intellectually and consciously, many people, many entrepreneurs, they hear that your value don't depend on or your profit of your how many figures you do in your business, and we can't intellectually we know, but at the end of the day, we don't realize how much we are really putting importance in this character that we believe we are, and believing that this character is going to become important and valuable when it's going to be like society asks us to be. So that was the first 3 years of my business. I think I've been really trapped in these manifestation goals and becoming just this successful business coach.
And you would hire coaches and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I spent over 180,000 in coaching, in business coaching. I remember one of the biggest investment that I made is, I think I paid for 3 months 30,000, and then after that I paid 7,000 a month for 1 year for being in a mastermind. That at the end I didn't use, because the year was the year when I awake, where I had my awakening, and I realized at one point, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? And of course, I was asked for having my money back, but it's not like things work in the industry of coaching for these people in any case. And yeah, I think I invested so much money because, again, this is what every business coach will tell you to do in order to achieve success. Of course, there was so many investments that were so valuable, but I think the most valuable are the one they were pushing me to see who I really was, and not the one they were pushing me to become a more successful, independent, powerful woman.
That's crazy. Like, because I spent a lot of money on coaching and learning more about myself and business coaches and stuff like this. And so I know it sounds like an insane amount of money, but when you can see the return on your investment, I mean, that's another story. But I guess for me, where I started, like I grew up, in an environment where it's like, hip hop, designer clothes, you need to look a certain way. It's about yourself, how your image, how you're portraying yourself to other people. and I think like a lot of that kind of motivates you to, when you grow up in that kind of environment, it motivates you to want to make a lot of money. And so I think also for me, not being doing well in school and experiencing neurodivergence, like it's like I was kind of like I knew I didn't want to work, so I like the other opportunity for me was business. And I read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and that's from there it opened my eyes to realizing that you could start a business. And so it took me, when I first started business, it took me 2 years to make my first ever sale online. I was just speaking to a client yesterday or day before yesterday, and she made her first 6 figures in just the first year of her business. But it wasn't profit, it was she actually lost money. But still, to make money is a big deal when it comes to like an online business. It's just that she needed to get it profitable. And so I was telling her it took me 2 years to make my first sale. So just know, if you ever want to start a business and whatever, you know, you have to be very patient and you have to work very hard in order to see results. So after I, made my first sale, I invested into a coach. It was $500 at the time. And within 2 weeks of hiring that coach, I made $2,500, I think it was. And then that was like kind of life-changing for me. And so I went down the rabbit hole of chasing success, chasing more money, making more and more, hiring new coaches, making more money. I made my first $25,000 sale in one day. And that was my first big month when I hired this coach. I made $80,000 in a single month. And at the time, I was in a toxic relationship. I was in a toxic relationship. I was struggling with anxiety. I was depressed. My health was downhill. Like, it was really, really bad. And yeah, I guess it was like one of the worst states that I've been in my entire life. So.
So similar. My story and Gavin's story are so similar.
Yeah.
The same for me. When I was making the most money, I was in a toxic relationship. My health was going down,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy. Like when we talk about things in our past, it's like we have the similar experiences. And so I achieved success externally, right? I had success externally, and I had a breakup in the relationship. There was cheating going on, and so the relationship ended, and I hired a coach. At the time, I only had 1,000 UK pounds, which is probably 1,200 USD nowadays, I think. And I spent a majority of that on the coach. And I learned a quote also at the same time, around the same time, from Tony Robbins, and it was, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." And that led me down the path of like, how do I become fulfilled within, which led me to the path of understanding that I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions. I am the one that is witnessing. I am presence. And even me saying I am presence, I'm not even that, right? So it goes one step further, but we're not going to get into that right now. Right now we can stay on the level of just being aware that we are not our thoughts. And so that's when I transitioned to having a different relationship with money and success and stuff like that. But I'm not going to tell you that right now. Claudia's going to tell you her side and how she experiences.
Yes, I think it was June 2021, and my coach at the time told me, "Okay, you're making 100K a month now. Let's go for 200,000." And I was like, "Why? Whose goal is this? You know?"
Yeah.
Like it's like in the moment someone woke me up and I was like, why am I even doing this? It was never my goal to make $1 million. I honestly never had the goal. It happened because I was making every month 100K. And before even getting to the point, when she asked me the question, it opened something, and I started really considering, should I start checking my relationship with money? Like, because normally we think, oh, I don't have money, I have a problem with money, I have a problem in my relationship with money. There are so many people that have a lot of money and they have a problematic relationship with money. So I knew that I wanted to go deeper in that, and that's where everything started. I really, little by little, started losing interest in the world, in the goals, the ambition, the getting somewhere, the program, the selling more, and little by little everything started like losing interest. I couldn't get myself excited for that anymore. And I remember thinking, am I losing my joy? Because at the time I thought that my joy was connected to that dopamine and excitement that I was getting from my business. And so from there, I remember I was living in Miami at the time. I came back to Mexico again, me too, in a toxic relationship. I came back to Mexico and I started exploring medicinal plants because I wanted to just because someone introduced me to this. So like, oh, you should try that. It's gonna open a world to you. It did open a world to me. It was I was trying to find an answer. I was trying to understand what is happening to me, because my mind couldn't understand what was actually happening. My soul and who I really am, it was exactly what it was supposed to be. Everything was exactly how it was supposed to be. But my mind couldn't achieve to understand what is happening to me, why I'm losing interest in everything, why I'm not excited anymore, why I feel like I don't have ambition, why I don't have goals for the next year when I always had goals for the next year. So that led to experiencing something outside of the ego. And after that experience, I discovered a book that was talking about presence, that was talking about non-duality. And for the first time in my life, I understood this teaching that I already read in the past, like Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I read it when I was, I think, 25, but it didn't resonate in that way. I wasn't just ready. So many people cross this teaching and they don't get it, and it's completely normal because the mind is so strong, right?
Can you give the analogy of the optical illusion?
Oh my god, yes. So in order to explain you this, I have this analogy. Have you ever seen this drawing? They pass on Facebook. Drawing, right? Is the word?
Yeah.
Drawing, yeah. On Facebook, and there is a drawing with two women, okay? But you can only see one woman. You can see her ad, you can see, and your friend is telling you, but look better. There is also an old woman. You see, if you turn your head like that and you watch on the ad of the other lady, and you're like, I don't see it. I only see the young woman. It's a little bit like that. We only see one side of reality. And the other side of reality, which is you're not this body and you're not your thought and you're not your emotions, we don't achieve to see it. Even if someone points us in that direction, look there. At the beginning, for the mind, it's difficult to leave what it thinks it knows to see something else. So we resist to this teaching. We don't see clearly at the beginning. We can understand intellectually. Maybe someone points you in the direction. You're like, oh, I kind of see something, and then it goes away again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what was happening to me at the beginning. And then the year, it was 2022, which is the year also then later on the year we got together. I understood this teaching in a deeper way. And I think sometimes we have to suffer in a way that something open and God can enter, and in that, how you would say, in that space that broke. And that year was so painful, and I felt so lost, and I felt so what is happening to me. And because I was open, then God could enter in that space. And I got it. Oh, all this time I was identified with this idea of being a me in a world. And of course, at the beginning, my understanding were still superficial of this. They keep deepening and deepening. Even now, I'm going deeper. And this is why Gavin said before, we don't get there yet, because there's a depth to this teaching that we just continue to explore. We just continue to see and experience that we are not a me. So anyway, there was... everything changed from the moment on, because my relationship with money wasn't anymore me separate than money. There wasn't anymore me. My relationship with my business, with success, with all of that changed, because there's not anymore a me that needs to be validated. There's not a me that someone has to see in order to feel good, in order to feel enough. The brain will always make us believe that there is a me, separate me, there is not enough, but it's just an illusion. And it became clearer and clearer and more clear with time.
Yeah. So you would say, like, with success, I guess, like, understanding, okay, if there's no me, then, like, what's life about? Like, where do I go from here?
My God, I remember asking myself the question at the beginning. It's so hard and it's so difficult, and you're like, okay, I'm not my thought, I'm not my emotion. I remember this sentence that was in the book that I loved. There was, you're not the weather, you are the sky. I was, wow. Yes, I'm getting it. But then you're like, okay, I'm the sky. What does it mean? Right? And you're trying to grasp what it means, not being the thought and not being the character. Or another way to express it, at the beginning in spirituality, we teach you are not the character of the movie, you are the one that is watching the movie. But even this is just the first step the spiritual teacher bring you to. Then there is another step deeper. There is like, you're not even the one that is watching the movie. You are the screen in which the movie is appearing. And at the time, I couldn't understand at all what that means, that I'm the screen. But that's where our teachers point us, right? And yes, again, at the beginning, it was hard to grasp it, to experience it. It stayed a little bit intellectual for a certain time, maybe 1 year, I would say. Okay, I'm not my mind, I'm not my thought, I am something that is bigger than that.
Yeah.
How was for you at the beginning?
At first, I learned from a program. It was like a workshop I went to for 5 days, and it was like they were constantly like drumming into you, like, it's the script. Like, every thought that you have is the script. So you just notice, you're noticing that the voice in your head, the narrative, is the script, right? And so that didn't quite, it got me to a certain level, but there's, like what they said, there's more levels to this. It's like like a Mario, right? It's a video game, there's stages that you go through, and it's like the optical illusion. Like, I read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The first time I read it, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, what is this? But I read it a year later, and it's like, whoa, what is this? Right? And so it's the same with presence, and that's why it's important sometimes to read the same book over again, because you're at a different level of consciousness. But yeah, it's like I went deeper and deeper, and understanding that there is no me necessarily that is experiencing this reality. And when the best analogy that I've been able to come up with, or way to look at it, is like, if you're just born, you just came out the womb, right? You will have no thought, no language, no narrative, no beliefs, no ideas, no concepts, no nothing, right? You won't understand anything. There's nothing to understand because you have no thought, right? And so you're just pure presence, and that's your natural state of being. That is who we really are. But again, we're not even that, right? And so for me, the way that I see it in my brain is like you just merge in with everything. Like you become everything. There's no me speaking to you and you speaking to me. You're not hearing me through speakers or whatever it is. It's all happening within consciousness. And when it comes to things like money and success, it's like now there's less attachment. And I know, like in the manifestation, it's like detach. There's no such thing as detached because everything is one, right? There's no separation. And so for me, like money now, you know, it's me, even though there's no me. Like success now is me. There's no needing to be enough. I'm not worthy. Like all these concepts that people have. I don't feel worthy enough. I'm not enough. I have doubt. I have fear. Like I have fear of success, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, afraid of being seen. All of this stuff. All of these things are just the mind spinning its story, narrative, which was learned when you start to grow up, right? When people start to teach you words. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any of these beliefs and limiting ideas about yourself, and you would just do stuff, right, without you having these limiting blocks of beliefs. So for me, this is if there is a success, this is true success, where you don't need to make stuff happen. You're just living. Like you don't need to have success. You don't need to have the goal. You don't need to get a certain outcome or anything like that. You are just content, right?
Yeah, there is a sentence of Ramana Maharshi that says, you enter in the train while you're keeping your baggage, your suitcase on your knees. You're in the train, you can drop them.
You can what?
You can just put them on the floor, drop them, you know.
Oh, your luggage, right?
Your luggage, thank you. And it's just saying we are on the train of life. We are life. Life is happening towards us, through us. So we still think that we are a me. That we are a me that has to do the action, that has to do that has to. But actually, life is happening, and we don't need to worry like we worry. We don't need to try to secure this me that we think we are. And that's the main change that we experience after awakening, understanding that life is happening through us. And so there's never been a me that was becoming more valuable because it was having money. And there's no worry anymore about money. We know that when we have a moment of more, how would you say that, a down in our business, there's no a real worry, because we know that there's not a me. So it's life making it happen, and we are secure on the fact that life will take care by itself of everything. And with this, I don't want to say, oh, so we don't do anything. It's the opposite, actually. The more you feel like you are presence, you are awareness, and you're not the me, the more your creativity, your intuition, and your colors are gonna express themselves and play with life. So you're gonna say more yes to life, but not a yes that's coming from an egotic mind. So I'm gonna do this in order to achieve that, and I'm gonna do this so people are gonna see me like this, and I'm gonna do this because then I will feel secure. This is what our mind wants. Our mind thinks that with all these we don't want money just because we want money. We don't want success just because we want success. Our mind wants those things because he thinks that when he is going to achieve those things, he's going to finally feel secure, peace, and happiness. But actually, this is a thing that I understood later. This misunderstanding that is huge. When we actually achieve the thing that we wanted that much, it's not that we are feeling happiness because we achieved the thing. We are feeling happiness because in that moment we are dropping the search. In that moment, dropping the search, the happiness that was already there, it was always been there, can emerge. It's always been there. We just relax because the inquiry, the research is not there anymore. And this is why we can experience the true self, our nature, pure happiness, pure joy, pure love. Because at that moment we dropped the research. It wasn't never the object in itself that was creating the happiness. It's not our partner, it's not money, it's not success. It's the stop of the research. That was huge to understand that. And I hope you take a little bit of time now to pause to think, oh, I hope it's gonna enter in that way. So that was what happened really after the awakening, is going deeper and deeper in the understanding that this security that I was looking for through money, through success, it was always there. It's never been missing. That was a big illusion. And the more I practice presence, the more I experience the nature of who I really am, the more I see how everything is taken care.
When I hear this stuff, I can see how scary it is for people. But the reality is, it's your truth, and it's the most simple simple thing to do. Like I like the analogy of like just dropping. There was two that you gave, like when you drop the luggage. Like imagine just dropping everything. What would emerge? Like what would come out of you? Like how would you be? Like what would naturally just be there? What energy would run through you because you're not focused on what you're thinking and your beliefs? I talk about how the matrix is constantly distracting you, constantly trying to keep you focused on other things rather than being able to drop everything. They give you bills, they give you a mortgage, they give you all this stuff, and so you're constantly thinking in your mind, narrative, story. My relationship's like this. I got stress. I gotta do the kids. I gotta do this, right? And so you're always here in the mind, right? When you release that and you drop that completely, now you can fully feel. Now you can fully experience life. And you'll realize you won't need success, you won't need happiness, you won't need all of these things. They will just naturally emerge from you without having the thing in order to needing it to make you feel better or feel fixed, or now I feel lucky enough, or now I have the money, now I'm somebody in the world, right? The world is backwards, right? And it's teaching you constantly to learn and grow and become a better version of yourself and all this stuff, and it's all a lie. Right? So yeah,
personal growth.
Personal growth.
I remember you telling me at the beginning of our relationship a lot, stay soft. Remember? It's exactly that. Stay soft. Drop the fight, drop the expectation, drop the need. Who's anyway this me that needs that, or is waiting for that, or is looking for that? And what do you really think you're gonna find once you had that?
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there. If you would like more videos from us, let us know in the comments, and we'll dive into other topics as well. We do relationship stuff as well, so if you want videos on that and how spirituality and awakening works within a relationship, we can discuss that. So yeah, speak to you in the next video. Peace.
Bye.